Hey everyone, I am JD Scroggin, the Director of Marketing and Communications here at Dunn, and welcome to our winter term course presentation. In this video, you're going to get a few minutes with each of our course leaders as they describe our exciting courses this winter term. It's designed to help you as students and as family members help determine which courses you're going to sign up for this winter term 2023. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce our Director of College Counseling, Terry Devine, to come on and start the show talking about a little bit about what the philosophy is behind winter term this year and some of the changes that we've made compared to last year.
Thank you for joining us to learn more about the winter term program. This video will showcase a variety of learning opportunities that are available to students this year. The winter term program was created to provide intentional space in the year for students to be able to explore beyond the traditional course offerings. In the past, we've had shorter programs and opportunities available for students, but there didn't always have enough time for pre-trip planning and reflection afterward. The length of the winter term program allows faculty and students more time to plan, explore, and reflect. Winter term classes will run for 3 weeks from November 28th through December 15th, and will fulfill the equivalent instructional minutes of a full semester. This is important as we continue to build the academic courses that we will offer during winter term. By creating this window for additional courses, we're building our capacity to offer more opportunities for students to take classes in areas of interest, and in the future, we'll be able to add these courses onto our transcript. Some of the courses you'll hear about in this video are academic, some others are enrichment in areas of interest, and others are experiential and will allow students to travel and learn about other cultures and environments. The winter term program allows students to explore the things they're curious about, and we're excited to provide a dedicated time in the school year for this type of learning. And Cal will now talk to you more about the details of the program.
Thank you, Terry. I want to talk a little bit about the opportunities that winter term offers students in terms of their passion and curiosities and the ways in which we want to support that as a school. There is financial aid available, and families must apply. And there are some factors that we take into that piece in terms of aid. We want to make sure we support students who want to be able to take trips during their time here at Dunn School and try to support at least one trip while their time at Dunn School in 4 years. And so there are some international trips here, and priority is going to be given to seniors who haven't made a trip, or those that have been waitlisted in the past. There is a process by which students are matched with their interests, and sometimes students may not get their first or second choice, but those students will get priority next time around. And to alleviate some of that concern, I wanted to assure families that we have partnered up with Round Square to offer more international service, exchange, and other opportunities throughout the year as well, so that students that may not get on an international trip that might be hard to fit another student in will get another opportunity to go ahead and do a trip during the year. And Barbara will speak about that at the end. I'm excited because I'll be one of the trip leaders along with Meg Watson, and I'm doing this slide here. I want to get to the nitty-gritty on this trip and be brief. The Egypt trip is a trip for us to be able to go to Egypt, look at the history of that country, the multi-layers there, and also do some work, some service work with the Refugee Learning Center, in which we're going to work with students, do some lessons and really understand what the educational world looks like for them with the sister school that we have there in Cairo. We partnered up with former Dunn alum, Brooke Comer, who's helping to make the arrangements on the ground. There is the cost of the trip. It's a little over $4,000, which covers the airfare, hotel stays, visa, transportation, security, food, activities, chaperone, the historic site visits, and the fees there. So, students won't have to, unless they want to buy some souvenirs and stuff, they won't have to, purchase this and that. Everything is covered. We'll get there by one of these airlines. We'll go from LA to Cairo. We'll finalize details, the travel agent, after we get the final group that's going. We'll be staying at the Royal Maddie Hotel, which is in the American expat section. We'll feel very comfortable there. It's secure. I've stayed there before. I'm comfortable with that. Brooke is around the corner as well, so we have a lot of support in that area. And we'll travel within Cairo on charter shuttles. We're also trying to make a trip to Alexandria, finalizing details there as well. There'll be a cruise on the Nile. There will be the pyramids. There will be all those wonderful things. We part of that. There are some safety concerns. Got to be up to date on vaccinations. Families may want to consider a typhoid vaccination. We'll do water safety while we're there. Like I said, we'll have security and aides present throughout, and we'll be right around the corner from the U.S. Embassy within walking distance, which I love. And then some of the things that we'll do there are also outlined. Pyramids, Old Cairo, walking through town. This is the Refugee Learning Center, and it's also within walking distance, though we'll travel by shuttle there. And then a felucca on the Nile. This is me last year, and it was a really nice trip, very short, but I was able to meet with the people that we'll be connecting with when we're over there. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to Meg Watson or myself. Thank you.
Hi, and my name is Amanda Milholland. I'm the Associate Director of Admission, and I'm excited to you Belize winter term that Shay Seckler and our learning strategy program will be leading. Our trip will include 11 days of travel from December 2nd to December 12th. We will fly directly to Belize City from LAX, nice, easy 5 hours. Prior to leaving, we will spend some time researching and preparing for our trip, also preparing a community service project that we'll bring with us to Belize. Then we'll have a few days when we return to rest, reflect on our trip, and then prepare our presentation. The trip cost is $3,000, includes everything, meals, transportation, accommodations. Additional costs may just be some snacks, souvenirs, and then meals at the airport. We are going to be working with a company called Island Expeditions. They work with about 20 schools, including a boarding school in Colorado who does a similar program to us as well. Their ratio for their guides is 8-to-1. The company will handle all logistics, educational programming, meals, trips, and transportations for us during our 4 different locations of the trip. All of our guides are trained and licensed by the Belize Tourism Board. The certification process requires 6 months of full-time classroom and field training in all things Belize, from geography to ecology, culture to history, safety, and first aid. These certifications must be renewed annually, and guides are required to update their first aid certification and provide current police records each year. The company goes into further training with training in specific to their specialties in high ropes, rappelling, zip lining, international level kayaking, wilderness first aid, water rescue. So we feel very comfortable with the people and the group that we're traveling on. So just some examples, we'll be in 4 different locations. So just some photos of where we'll be staying. 2 locations are on the water, 1 location in the zoo, and then 1 location in the rainforest. So we'll be at the Belize Zoo and Tropical Educational Center. We'll be at Glover's Reef, which is about 40 miles offshore. From there, we transfer to Tobacco Key, a small and remote 5-acre sandbar island in the middle of the Southwater Key Marine Reserve, which hosts the 2nd largest barrier reef in the world. We'll spend almost all of our days in or on the water for about 2 nights snorkeling and kayaking to experiencing the diversity of marine life. Tobacco Key is simple and remote. There's no electricity, internet, or phone. So we'll truly bond with one another and the gorgeous surrounding that we'll have. We then will finish the trip by heading to the tropical rainforest habitat, exploring different cultures, hiking and rappelling down a waterfall, and finishing the trip with a community service project with a local school and delivering school supplies. A little bit about Belize. It's about the size of the state of Massachusetts. Belize's mainland habitats range from savanna to pine ridge, broadleaf forest to true tropical rainforest. Offshore is the world's 2nd largest coral reef system with hundreds of islands, 200 miles of interrupted reef wall, and 3 to 4 atolls found in the Caribbean. The population is approximately 450,000 and is made up of 5 distinct and different cultures. And the experiential learning is based on 3 core experiences: adventure, sport, and activity, natural history learning, and cultural interaction. Over the course of this trip, our professional team will help students connect the cultures, past and present, to each habitat and how they play a role and how the cultures have evolved. Exploration of these habitats is through active adventure and sport. Each day will include lectures and discussions and fun physical activity. Students can expect to be fully immersed in everything Belize has to offer, be challenged, be active, and have a great time. December is also a wonderful time to go to Belize, low rainfall, wonderful temperatures. This is my 4th winter term that I've done. This has been my 2nd international trip, so we're really looking forward to it. And please reach out to me anytime with any additional questions. Thank you.
Yeah, hi, this is David McCoy. I'm going to be chaperoning the Crossing Borders program with a yet to be named Dunn faculty member. Instead of speaking to it, I'm going to let the creator of the trip and the director of Peaceworks Travel, who will be running the program, speak to it. Alethea Tyner is a history professor at SBCC, and she directs the organization that will be running this trip.
Hi, David. Hi, everyone. Peaceworks Travel was founded about 20 years ago. We are a collective group of teachers, began out of Laguna Blanca School, and we developed itineraries that were matched to curriculum. And the goal is for students to transcend ordinary tourism and become informed, invested citizens of a global community through socially conscious travel. Crossing Borders program starts for the winter term, actually in Santa Ynez on the Dunn School campus. There's pre-learning and experiential activities with the local agricultural scene there surrounding the campus. And students will understand the issues that are germane to the migration concerns that are all around us, invisibly with our Latinx neighbors. And then the program, the immersion travel part of the program, takes students to Old Town San Diego. You will see that they stay one night here at the Holiday Inn, which is in Old Town. Students have their own beds and shared rooms. We then go to Chicano Park. We hear from the Chicano Park Steering Committee, the locals there who have preserved and maintained the 1700 murals there that really serve to highlight the art of resistance and preserving the local culture of the Barrio Logan community. Where we will be staying, you will see here this is an aerial photograph. We will be staying in Playas Tijuana. We walk this side of the border on the U.S. side, which is this open green space here. We walk this side of the border, and we talk to Border Patrol and the state park rangers who teach us about the shared region, water, air, and the challenges of maintaining a shared environmental space. Where we are staying, as you can see here, it's kind of upscale. It's secure yet integrated, and we have our chefs that come in every night, and we have cooking lessons, and it's a lovely way to be integrated yet secure in the community. The students will be volunteering in the Binational Garden and understand efforts to unify families separated by the border. And in addition, we also volunteer at the LGBTQ Family Sanctuary, which provides a safe space for families and other migrants that are marginalized. We also visit the Cumier Center, which is a thriving indigenous community and is in the Valle de Guadalupe, which is known basically as the Napa Valley of Baja California. We also visit local artisan and food markets, the cultural centers, and students engage in really being temporary locals, connecting with local people, bartering for ingredients that they will use for the meals that they cook. All of our groups are registered with the STEP program. The U.S. Embassy in Tijuana has notice of our group's presence. Our program is considered urban and upscale, akin to visiting middle-class communities of LA, San Francisco, and other large urban centers of the U.S. There's a security presence in all of our hotels and condominiums, and at no point are students permitted to wander around alone without our supervision. this link here, the Google Earth itinerary, tracks all of our movements so that administrators will know where we are. The itinerary is mapped to Google Earth, so that's available should that be desired. Ultimately, the students will be exploring the complexity surrounding the paradox that we are a nation of immigrants, and yet in the popular news media, immigrants are stigmatized. So we are meeting artists and refugees, Indigenous people, human rights activists. We hear from both pro and anti-migrant advocacy groups, and students really understand through fun activities, cross-cultural exchange, Spanish language practice, and we use some documentary skills building and of course some quiet reflection time to absorb all of this, how that they can play a role, practice empathy in action, and understand the hemispheric migration issues that affect them in their daily lives. This is ultimately the question we ask, and we have provided this program for about 45 schools within the last 7 years, mostly private schools across the US, some from Canada as well. So happy to answer any further questions, and thanks for your attention.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Ulises Castañeda. I'm happy to talk to you today about our trip to Guatemala. I will be chaperoning this trip with my wife, Alejandra Santos. This is our 10th year participating in this trip. This trip is in partnership with the Los Olivos Rotary Club, which does give a nice donation for us to help offset the cost for the experience. Our students will travel from LAX to Guatemala City, and from there we will take a 45-minute van to Antigua, Guatemala. Antigua is a UNESCO site. It is known for its early examples of city planning, which dates back to 1543. In Antigua, the students will then engage in a service project. The service project is in partnership with an organization known as Construcasa. Construcasa is a nonprofit in Guatemala. A lot of the citizens are dependent on the nonprofits to provide for them services that the government lacks the ability to provide. We chose Construcasa as a nonprofit to work with because Construcasa does the following things. Construcasa provides homes, actually sells homes to local families. They do this by having the family members fill out a, family members are screened for their participation in this project. A family is required to have a member of their family be employed. The family is required to have their children enrolled in school as in elementary schools. The family is required to have their students, their child have regular medical checkups. And these are the requirements, the basic requirements for Construcasa for a family to qualify. Once the family has qualified, then the Construcasa works with the family to decide the loan and the type of house that we will be building for the family. This service trip is a physically demanding trip. The focus is the building of the home. We work hand in hand with the families to build their home. Construcasa hires local masons, which some of our fees go to offset and pay for their participation in this. And we average about 6 hours a day of work in this trip. Aside from the working experience, the students that participate in our trip will also have an opportunity for a homestay experience. The homestay families are vetted through the organization Construcasa, but Antigua is a very small town. We've been there for 10 years, and we are very comfortable with the families that Construcasa selects. We have personal relationships with these families that we've established over our time in Antigua, and we're very comfortable with these homestay families. Students also will have an opportunity for some sightseeing around Antigua. We will have students take a trip to a coffee plantation or a textile market. Both of those products are very important for the locals as a means of income, and it's a big draw with tourists. We update our families, the families of our students, almost daily via email with pictures and candid, candid snippets of what the day looked like for them. Once again, this is our 10th year leading this very successful trip. We're very excited about the opportunity to take more students to Guatemala. We find the people in Guatemala to be very welcoming and kind, and our students are quick to get that same feeling. So we hope that you consider our trip for your student for this upcoming winter term. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Philip Ukel, and I'll be the teacher leading the rock climbing trip with the winter term. The first question I've often gotten about this rock climbing trip is this trip for me? And the answer is yes. We would love all comers to come join us on our rock climbing trip, both beginners and enthusiasts alike. We'll be heading to Tucson, Arizona, and I'll speak more exactly where in a moment. And that $1,600 that you see in the cost covers climbing guides, all the permits, food, campgrounds, and transportation. We will be driving to Tucson, and we'll do a stopover in Joshua Tree on the way. As far as climbing guides, these are climbing guides that we've worked with for many years and have done multiple trips with Dunn. And we're very confident and comfortable with. We'll have a 3-to-1 ratio of adults. So as students begin to learn and build their rock climbing skills, they'll really have a lot of support to grow. The trip itinerary will be 3 days on campus here at Dunn, where we'll go through all the gear. We'll make sure students understand how to use it safely, make sure they are accountable and know how to rock climb in the correct way. We'll also take a day trip up to the pad in San Luis Obispo for students to start pushing their limits. 2 of those days will be here on our rock climbing wall in the Dunn gym. After those 3 days, once we're set and ready, we'll do 10 days out on the road. We'll start with 1 day in Joshua Tree, a 5-hour drive to Joshua Tree, where we'll explore and climb on the famous Joshua Tree gneiss, these wonderful big boulders. After a day in Joshua Tree, we'll drive 6 to 7 hours to just outside Tucson, Arizona, and visit Mount Lemmon. Mount Lemmon is a particularly awesome place to climb because it has 4 different geological zones that offer different climbing experiences. So it's wonderful to be able to experience the whole breadth in one space. And then finally, we'll drive just a little bit south to Cochise, hour and a half south of Tucson, to go climb in a few rugged canyons and some towering domes. After those 10 days on the road, we'll come back and we'll spend 3 days on campus where we will de-issue all our gear, clean it, make sure we maintain it correctly, and then also build in space for reflection after the long journey. We will be camping the entire time in the tents with the Dunn equipment. So if your students have gone on a outdoor ed trip with us and use the equipment, it'll be the same that they're familiar with. A student who goes on this trip will return with the knowledge, confidence, and experience to climb on their own, but also potentially take a leadership role in the Dunn Upper School climbing program. So if you're at all interested or have more questions, please come find me or email me. We'll be excited to take everyone who wants to, beginners and enthusiasts alike, on this rock climbing trip. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Chad Stacy, Director of Robert W. Jurgensen Entrepreneurship Program at Dunn School. So we've got a cost of about $1,800 a person. We're looking at your sort of standard road trip where you go to visit businesses and factories and tours with a little bit of college visits thrown in. In keeping with the Jurgensen program, this is going to be sort of all about business and the free market system. So we're going to be traveling by van, the west coast of the US. We'll go as far north as Seattle and as far south as Los Angeles. It's going to be a Dunn School van and 2 employees. Okay, so there you got a 17-hour drive up to Seattle. Along the way, It's going to be the old-fashioned family road trip. When I was a kid, my parents used to throw us in the minivan, throw the cooler, the old Coleman cooler, and the canvas tent, and we would have our summer vacation. This is going to harken back to those days. You see the old ball of yarn and the big hot dog building. That's the kind of stuff we're going to be doing. So JD, if you want to click through some of the photos, we'll travel north. So first, we're going to start in LA. We've got an amazing arrangement with the Los Angeles Clippers that was provided by one of our current Dunn School parents, where we get a full day with the Clippers. Behind the scenes, we go to the press conference, we see the marketing efforts, we see their tech efforts, and then we go to a game. USC Marshall is going to be part of our pre-trip visit. We've got 2 Jurgensen alum that are students at USC Marshall School. I also know the associate director of their undergraduate program. So we're going to visit USC Marshall. Okay, then we're going to go to the Cal Poly Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship. We've made a great relationship with Cal Poly just up the road. A couple very successful Dunn alum are participating there. We're going to visit with some startups and see Cal Poly. The picture above that is the Ritz-Carlton in Santa Barbara. We had a great visit with Ritz-Carlton last year, heard about their marketing initiatives and how they run their business. So we'll head back there. The photo that just popped up above the Clippers is the Shasta Pines Motel. That's run by some Dunn School alum that we did a great Jurgensen project with last year. We're actually getting comped rooms at their hotel, and we're going to work on a human resources initiative with them. We'll keep heading north to Eugene, where we'll visit the University of Oregon and their undergraduate business school. Okay, now we're in Portland, Oregon. You're looking at the Portland International Airport. That beautiful building is being built with timber by a company called Timber Lab. And Timber Lab is a leader in sustainable building practices, and they're using wood, believe it or not. So what's old is new again. Then you have a visit in Seattle at the Seattle Academy. They have an amazing business and entrepreneurship program. I have a partner up there that we're going to be working with. We're actually going to be homestaying with Seattle Academy students, so a great way for your kids to meet other students. And that's going to be sort of the base camp for us to do 2 or 3 days in Seattle. We'll be going to the Gates Foundation, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, and then finally University of Washington and their undergraduate business program as well. And then, of course, we have to come home. Along the way, I'm still working on the itinerary on the way back, but this is going to be a really excellent Jurgensen trip.
Hi, my name is Alex Westcott. I'm here to kick off the local opportunities for students during winter term. The internship winter term is a unique local experiential education opportunity in an area of passion or interests for the students. Students will work with a coordinator and business or nonprofit to develop a real problem for them to solve. At the end of their internship, they'll provide a deliverable back to the business or nonprofit and report out on their experiential journey to the community. We're looking to pilot 10 students in the 10th and 11th grade, and local opportunities are very much preferred.
Hi all, I'm Paula Horvath, the ceramics teacher at Dunn School, and I'm looking forward to offering a program in public art and installations. And we'll be both looking at the art and making the art. So first, touring public art in places that are close to us, San Luis Obispo and Santa Barbara. And we'll be looking at how it creates a sense of belonging, identity, and culture in a place. We'll be looking at ways we can then bring that to the Dunn School, talk about how we can enhance Dunn's campus by creating projects here. Students will conceptualize and design and create the installations themselves that we will then install on campus and unveil here. And the kinds of things that can be done will depend on their interests. So could include murals, mosaics, or sculptures, and students will work either independently or collectively based on the project that they create.
Hi, my name is Mike Franke. I teach ancient history here at Dunn, and I'm looking to bring my interest in ancient technology to the students. If you're staying here on campus, We will be working mostly in two areas. One is bronze crafting and experimenting with different metals and their combinations in making different alloys, and then testing those alloys. This is going to be a student-driven effort where students will be designing their testing methods and experimenting in ways that they find interesting. The second main idea is an investigation into an ancient Greek phenomenon called the linothorax, which is armor made of linen. You see a picture of Alexander the Great there. There are many people who think he's actually wearing armor that's made of fabric instead of metal. There's obviously no evidence for this other than pictures because linen doesn't last thousands of years. So we're going to experiment based on the experiments that others have done in the past to try to recreate this armor. And then at the end, test our armor with some of our metal crafting that we've achieved before that.
Hi, I'm Josh Roberts, and I will be teaching a course on data science. Students will be primarily investigating water. How much water do they use? How much water does their family use? How much water gets used at Dunn? All of these questions can have a serious impact on our environment, and students will be using methods learned in this course to analyze and come to conclusions about how to best use the water. Students will get to learn about computer programming, as well as data science technologies and statistical analysis tools. We'll be mostly working in the classroom, but students will also be able to explore out and check out different places on campus and how water gets used.
Hi, I'm Heather Anastasia, and I'm the Director of Counseling here at Dunn. And the course that I'm offering is the Science of Happiness. In this course, to better understand the science of happiness, we will explore the psychology, the sociology, and neuroscience of well-being. The content is curated and based on research done at the Greater Good Science Center at UC Berkeley. Students will learn research-based strategies that foster personal growth, increased self-regulation, increased resiliency, compassion, and critical thinking. The course will include the practices of gratitude, mindfulness, and awe. Through personal and shared experiences, students will get to experience those things such as gratitude, mindfulness, and awe with visits to Santa Barbara, the San Luis Obispo or Slow Coast, visiting Malibu. We'd like to also visit the Chumash village there in Malibu to learn about their practices of gratitude. We'd like to do some fun things like the UCSB ropes course, again, in search of some awe. And then we will take a character strength survey. We'll do some journaling, and then the course will conclude with a participant planned and prepared meal of thanks. I think it'll be a really fun time and a really great time of self-reflection.
I'm Nancy Ortiz. The course I'm going to run is about the future of farming. We live in a very unique place where we have examples of excellent techniques for learning new forms of farming. Some farmers are going up, they're going vertical. Other ones are going out. We will begin our instruction trying to understand our soil. The soil at Dunn and the school garden has always been a source of concern because it's never been really successful. So we'd like to change that by looking at what other farmers do and bring it back to our school and maybe come up with a plan, which I hope the students will do, come up with a plan of how to improve our being able to grow things for our own school. We'll be able to visit places, starting up in San Luis, the vermicomposting with the Black Diamond venture. It's run by a lady, really great. We'll go, that's the highest we'll go, Paso Robles. We'll continue down through Santa Maria Valley, picking up some organic farms and commercial farms, and then heading all the way down to Santa Barbara, where a man inside of an old grove is now growing coffee trees. And so we can bring some coffee trees like we tried banana trees, bring them back to our school and see if things will grow in actually California. I'm looking for more places we can volunteer. There's an awful lot of options. So this whole course will probably be run with the assistance of the students. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Eric Escalante, and I'm partnering with Duarte Cajero, and we're going to be offering a VEX robotics course. Though we may not be crossing any international or national borders, we are so fortunate to be meeting here, you can see behind me, in Dunn's new and incredibly well-equipped Innovation Center. The main focus of our course is going to be, as it's titled, VEX Robotics. What I encourage any student who's interested in joining us is that we're going to be meeting them at their level and their experience with robotics. So we have several platforms that we can offer. If they're brand new to robotics and they have, a little interest, maybe it's that whisper in their mind that says, I'm going to try this out. We can meet them there with block coding. It's as simple as taking a block of code, dropping it in, and telling the robot what to do. We're also going to be teaching them how to use our remote controls to control the robots to do the tasks that we want them to do. And we also have the ability to teach kids and work with the kids who have already coded in Python and C++. So we welcome any student that's interested in robotics to come and join us. In addition to that, to spice it up a little bit, is we're going to have a little sampling of all the different equipment that we have here in the Innovation Center. We have an amazing 120-watt laser that will teach them on all different types of materials, what the possibilities are with those materials. And we have incredible 3D printers, industry standard 3D printers that they'll be able to work with and use different filaments that can actually dissolve in water and create functional prototypes that have movable parts. So we're encouraging any students that are interested in innovation, robotics, to come and join us, take a chance, embrace productive failure, and see what they're capable of doing. I think they'll be pleasantly surprised in the end of what they're able to accomplish. We hope to see them there. Thank you.
Hi, this is Joe Sinclair, and I'll be running the Introduction to Zymology course. So this course is going to be about fermentation, and I'll just explain a little about the title. Zymology is the science of fermentation, and this will be a very science-focused course. So students will, first of all, have to understand all of the safety standards to safely handle food, and then we're going to get right in and start fermenting some food. So while we're doing that, we'll do that in a scientific way, and students will learn about the microbes involved in fermentation. And we'll be focusing on fermentation over 3 different time periods. We're going to be fermenting yogurt, which will be a relatively short ferment. Things like sauerkraut and kimchi will take the duration of the course. And then we'll also be fermenting some wine. So wine for high school kids, obviously that is going to raise some eyebrows. So what we're going to do is we're going to ferment a red wine with a lot of oak, and that should allow the wine to last for many, many years. And we can send out a specially produced Dunn labeled bottle of wine to alumni after their 21st birthday. And that will really be the kind of special gift at the very end of all the fermenting in the course. I also want to make this course something that students can take forward if they're really interested in it. So as well as talking to professionals in the winemaking industry, I'm also going to be introducing the students to educators working in viniculture education so that they can see that this is something they could potentially take forward into college and to get qualifications in that area. There's a design element to this as well. As I mentioned, the label on the bottle will be one that's actually designed by the students. So there is a little bit of designing and marketing involved in the course as well. And yeah, I hope that this is a course that can really appeal to students of any level. Whether the students have taken biology or not, they can still gain a good understanding of the microbiology, some of the biochemistry involved in fermentation. Thanks, and I hope to see the students there.
Hi, I'm Simon Sweeney. I am a science teacher as well as my role as associate at School for Curriculum and Learning. This class, Marine Biology, will be a hands-on course. It will be involving lab work both here at Dunn and also at UCSB, as well as field work at reserves in Cambria, Carpinteria, and in Isla Vista. I'll be working with Missy Escalante and Meg West on this project. And this is really, as Terry said at the start of this presentation, our goal here is to really go into depth and really learn a subject that is a passion area of the three of us, but also a passion area of a number of students in a really deep and meaningful way. And really, this is a chance for us to very much dive into an academically rich topic in the experiential way and really, kind of give those real world and those real lab field science skills to students over the course of the 14 to 17 days that we're doing this. This course is, designed primarily for students, who are hopefully very much interested in science, or they may just be interested in the ocean and, looking at kids from 9th grade through 12th grade, really accessible and really tailored to, meeting students where they are. Any questions? I think you can contact Missy, Meg, or myself regarding, really what the course is about. But I'm really excited to be able to do this as we get into the winter term process in general. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jillian, and this course is Shakespeare Intensive, Romeo and Juliet from Script to Stage. This course will be on campus in Ginny. It's going to be led by Jim Watson, English teacher, and myself, and I'm the drama teacher here. And it's an opportunity for students to participate in theater and acting that haven't had that opportunity for different reasons. They don't want to give up their time. They don't want to work outside the classroom. So what we're going to be doing, so this project is actually birthed from Jim Watson, his English class, a project that he does every year, which is to adapt the script of Shakespeare to our modern world and into modern English. So we are going to be translating Romeo and Juliet, and then we are going to produce the show. Right now, I can't tell you exactly that it will be the full-length show. That would be cool, but we may end up doing scenes or monologues. It depends how many students sign up for this project. Some soliloquies that are in Shakespearean may stay in the show. It depends on the actors that want to participate and what the students want to get out of it. And the culmination will be kind of a production or something to share with you guys on Sunday, January 14th, which will be sort of like a dinner theater experience that we want to have for you. And that's it. If there are any questions, please reach out to me or Jim Watson. Thanks so much.
Hi, I'm Deborah Wilson. I'm the chemistry teacher, and I'll be working with Nancy Yucky, who is in art. So this is all about color. So we're going to look at the science of color. How do we see it? How do we distinguish the different colors, pigment colors, light colors, and then how that transfers to artwork. Now, the depth of the color and so on. And we'll also, along with that, go to see different art and do different art, all with looking in color. So it's for anybody who really likes art and wants to spend some time focusing on their art and how color evokes feeling. So they'll work on their portfolios, they'll look at elements of art and the science of art, and then also look at evaluating and critiquing others' art and their own art, and reflecting on their own art. And we'll have some day trips to different museums for science and also for art.
Hi, my name is Kelsey Sullivan. I'm the athletic director, and I am going to be offering a course called Trail Around Dunn. So we have a lovely trail that's just shy of a mile around our campus. And so with the students, what we'll do during our 3 weeks is
walk around the trail, figure out spaces where we might be able to create fitness spaces along the trail. And then we will figure out how to build those workout stations and start to finish, get it done. So we've got some more stuff outside of our new fitness center off the gym. So we'll have some outdoor and indoor spaces that we'll be able to work out on this year.
Hi, everybody. I'm Gary Thorne. I teach journalism, sports journalism. As an adjunct at Dunn, I'm also an attorney. I practice both criminal and civil law. And what I would like to do for students who think they might want to be an attorney is to offer them an introduction. I know growing up and in high school, when I had some thoughts about it, I really didn't have much of an understanding of what was involved in the practice of law, of the different court systems and how they worked, and how to conduct oneself in preparing to go to law school. That's what we want to cover for the students in this program during this term. We'll have the opportunity to distinguish between the state and federal courts, between criminal and civil courts and the cases that are involved there. We'll talk about the different types of judging you do, whether you're a criminal judge, civil judge, administrative judge, and what's involved in those capacities. We'll take a look at administrative law. We'll take a look at the U.S. Code of Military Justice. There's a whole separate legal system involved for those in the services. I was part of that as a 4-year JAG officer in the Army. And it's a very interesting and rewarding profession, but not a lot of people in high school have an opportunity to even know that it exists. So we want to generate for students as the interest that they have, let it bubble with some knowledge about what goes into preparation to become a lawyer. And I hope we will travel a bit, going to courts, hopefully in Santa Barbara and in Solvang to meet with justices, to see the court in action. We also are hoping to have a moot court session where the students will actually be judges, juries, attorneys for one side or the other, and have a chance to actually practice in a legal case setting, and probably before an actual judge who will sit in as a volunteer to hear the case and offer some comments in the course of doing that. I think it will be fun. I think it will be interesting. And remember that, as has been said a million times over, we are supposed to be a country of law and not individuals. Therefore, the legal profession is a foundation work of what goes on in this country. And students should know what the legal foundation in this country is, whether they plan to practice or not. So I invite students to take a look. If you think you want to become an attorney, we may convince you one way or the other in terms of what you hear in this class.
Hi, I'm Barbara. I am the assistant head for leadership, and I am the conductor of the winter term program. So all of the student registration will go through me. Students have received the survey form in which they're asked to indicate their top 5 choices. And as Cal mentioned very early in this presentation, many of the travel courses are likely to be oversubscribed. We have a limited number of places on those courses, and therefore it's very likely that some students will not be able to travel this year with the winter term courses. Having said that, we do have the Round Square program. We are a member of the Round Square organization of schools, 250 schools in 50 different countries across the world. Through Round Square, Dunn students have the opportunity for international travel. One of those ways is through international conferences. For example, next month, I will be traveling to Africa with 3 student delegates to take part in a conference. We'll be visiting South Africa and Kenya, and they will be mixing with students from all over the world for that 2-week period. Other conferences are now starting to be advertised for 2024. There are some for 9th and 10th grade students in Namibia, Germany, India, and Spain. and for 11th and 12th grade students also. Here's the list of conferences that was just published a couple of weeks ago by Round Square. I will be sending out information about these to students soon. So if there's something here that takes your fancy, let's plan a delegation and let's go visit. We also have the opportunity for student exchanges across the world. Earlier this year, one of our students went to school in Germany, and we actually have a senior student in Germany right now. She's there for 6 weeks. We will be hosting a student from that school next spring. In my email, we have invitations from schools in Australia, South Africa, and Peru who are actively looking for exchange partners for their students for the later in this school year or the start of the next school year. And Round Square recently launched their first service project since COVID. Traditionally, they would have a service project every year in which students from different schools across the globe would come together to work. The last one before COVID was in Borneo. This December, they're taking our group to Thailand. I'm looking forward to finding out what their next service opportunity will be and hoping that we have done student interest in that and that we can get a student onto that trip. So the number of opportunities to travel is far beyond just what we have in winter term. So if you or your family is interested in one of the Round Square opportunities, please come and talk to me, send me an email, we'll get you signed up and we'll be booking your plane ticket before you know it. So thank you for joining our presentation tonight. I'm looking forward to a wonderful winter term experience for all of our students. No matter which course they end up on, they will have a tremendous learning experience. Thank you very much.